Jordan Love, AJ Dillon, Josh Jacobs, all in town. What you need to know about the Broncos and Packers joint practice. Welcome into your Denver Sports Daily for August 16th. Let's go.
Taking you through your morning headlines, it's Denver Sports Daily with Rachel V. Hill.
It's officially here. The final practice with the Broncos and the Packers. A joint practice we have all been waiting on. Jordan Love coming into town. I can't wait to see what he's going to look like. I hope he tests Patrick Surtain just a little bit. We'll have to see. But one of the most interesting things that had kind of come out, and Sean Payton had actually spoke on this a little bit, saying, they had their plans. Sean Payton sent an original draft over to Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur came back and said, okay, I would like to do this and this. There's a game plan for today's practice running from 10 a.m., so the start of right now, all the way until 12:30 tonight. Will there be interviews from both teams? I do not know the answer to that one. And I know it's been one of those questions. I also know there was a huge line of people outside the door today, starting around 9 a.m. Massive groups are coming in. But another thing that's a little interesting is that Matt LaFleur says that he won't conduct any one-on-ones today with Broncos wide receivers and DBs to avoid altercations, whereas the defensive line and the O-line groups will, in fact, do one-on-ones. I don't know the last time I thought like a wide receiver and DB would go against each other. Maybe Michael Crabtree and Aqib Talib, but that was years ago and it wasn't a joint practice. But I feel like we're going to see more of an altercation between the defensive line and the offensive line, but we'll see. I asked James Palmer earlier this week on Coffee Break. I was like, yo, over or under 1.5 fights that we see out at Broncos. And I'm like, if the D-line and O-line are going out, I'm definitely going, I think there will be one fight. So I guess I'm taking the under, but I think we'll see at least one sort of argument where everybody gathers around and they're all screaming at each other just a little bit. So I'm excited to be out there today, but that was like the most notable thing is Broncos wide receivers and DBs will essentially not go hand in hand on the one-on-one. So just a little interesting tidbit for you. Of course, we get you set for this weekend's preseason game, and they will be wearing white tops and orange bottoms, which will look really, really cool. So I hope you guys are excited about it as I am. And then let's go on. I teased this yesterday, everybody, but for the second time this week, the Falcons have made a big move to bolster their defense. And this time, it involves Justin Simmons. We talked about it. We heard the rumors yesterday that were coming out, but Pro Bowl safety Justin Simmons signs a 1-year deal worth $8 million. The 30-year-old Simmons was released by the Broncos this offseason in cost-cutting moves, not because he wasn't fabulous at his job, but essentially because the Broncos had to find a way to save money. They ended up cutting him, and now Justin Simmons signs with the Atlanta Falcons. He made last year's Pro Bowl team with 70 tackles, 3 interceptions, 1 sack, and 1 fumble recovery. Justin Simmons, I think, is going to be phenomenal out there in Atlanta. I'm glad that he got not a huge payday, but definitely a nice payday. I don't think anybody's turning down the kind of money that he's getting, especially for a 1-year deal. So excited for him, and he will, in fact, be returning back to the Mile High City when the Broncos will take on the Falcons later this year. I believe that game is in November. ESPN. They shocked everybody yesterday because they are shuffling up their NFL roster, parting ways with Robert Griffin III and NFL Countdown host Sam Ponder on Thursday. Per The Athletic, the decisions were budget related, and more ESPN cuts could be happening in the coming weeks. RG3 had 2 years left on his current deal, but just saw his spot on Monday Night Countdown taken by Jason Kelce, and Ponder has hosted NFL Countdown since 2017 and has been with the network since 2011. This comes as a major shock. I got a whole bunch of text messages yesterday being like, wait a second, Sam Ponder's gone, RG3 is gone, they're making tons of moves. I'm going to be so curious if they bring in another female to host NFL Countdown. And of course, the one bad thing about this industry and what we're seeing with all of the big networks is that you can find somebody who can do relatively what you do, but for a lot cheaper. And that is kind of just what we're seeing is somebody who works in this industry. It's the truth. I'm sure Sam Ponder was making some good money. She was, one of those names that it seemed like everybody knew, and she did such a good job of hosting everything. I mean, since 2017, I remember when she took over for NFL Countdown and everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is a massive. And now they let her go. Jason Kelce, the hottest new thing, right? Brother to Travis Kelce, relation to Taylor Swift, like all of these things. He's coming in now on Monday Night Countdown. I actually like the Jason Kelce move. I think it's going to be really interesting to kind of get a a different perspective for the game and somebody who can be a little more entertaining and a little more jokester. So I'm excited about this move, but still, nonetheless, 2 people lost their jobs yesterday, and that's just a little crazy. Move over to the NBA now because the Denver Nuggets tip off their season, and Russell Westbrook will be playing against the franchise that essentially made him famous, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and what will be a showdown of the West's top 2 regular season teams from a season ago. It's hard to believe the team will be on national TV 29 times, including NBA TV games, and has 15 back-to-back, which is slightly higher than the league average of 14.9 per team. Teams will not play the day before or after any high-profile national TV games. Thank you. My goodness, that makes me so happy to see. Everyone is pointing their fingers at Embiid, saying, hey, Embiid, remember that. You can't say, oh, we're on a back-to-back. 3 games that I have scheduled. And actually, I think there's 4. February 6th, the Orlando Magic will come to the Mile High City, which means that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope will indeed return back here where he obviously won a championship. I'm a huge KCP fan. I was heartbroken when he left. So this is one of those ones that I'm excited about. They open the season on October 24th versus Oklahoma City Thunder, which will be really good. And then 2 days later, they actually have the Los Angeles Clippers, which is where Russell Westbrook obviously was coming from. And then also I'm excited for November 1st because they will be at Minnesota and take on the Timberwolves, which is a really good game. But so there's lots of early good games on the schedule, which I think the schedule makers were like, all right, let's have some drama early on. Let's see what we can get started. So excited for that. But nonetheless, there's also a lot of competition that the Nuggets will be going against. So hopefully they can get in their routine early and be able to produce some W's on that front. Now, speaking of the Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers finally have a place to call home. The team's brand new arena, the Intuit Dome, opened for the first time Thursday night, hosting a Bruno Mars concert. 18,000-seat arena is located in Inglewood, about a mile from SoFi Stadium, and it's been under construction since September of 2021. It'll be the first time in 25 years that the Clippers have their own home court. They've been sharing Crypto Arena, formerly Staples Center, with the Lakers since 1999. You can see, obviously, on the right side of your screen, all of the confetti and everything as they obviously opened up the dome, which is really cool. But I did not realize that they had been sharing the same home for 25 years, since 1999. That's pretty crazy. And I will always call Crypto.com Arena Staples Center. Let me know in the comments if you are also with that. Random story to talk to you about on this Friday. Let's talk chicken wings. So a former Chicago school district director convicted of stealing $1.5 million. Let me repeat that. $1.5 million worth of chicken wings have received a potential second chance from an unexpected source, which is, in fact, Kansas City Chiefs player Chris Jones. Jones has offered to reimburse Harvey School District 152 the $1.5 million to cover the stolen wings on one condition. The wing thief has to be released from the Cook County Jail. So in a social media message posted on Tuesday, the defensive tackle writes, I'll pay for the wings that she stole to get her free. She's 68 years old, has been convicted of using her position to order 11,000 cases of chicken wings on the district's dime between July 2020 and February 2022 during the COVID-19 pandemic. The food was intended to be used for take-home meals for students learning remotely, district officials say. There's no word on whether authorities are considering Jones's offer. $1.5 million in chicken wings is a little crazy, but Chris Jones trying to do his part and get a woman to be free. But yeah, what an interesting story to end with you on this Friday. Okay, let's see. Comments, my favorite part. Go Broncos 2024. Go Broncos. Happy Friday, Rachel. Happy Friday, Michael. Thank you so much for spending just a little bit of time with us here on your Friday, which is crazy. This week has flown by. Do you guys agree? Also, can you believe training camp is almost over? Today's the last day of training camp. It is done after this. I don't even know how that's possible. I feel like just yesterday we were talking about everything to look forward to, but we've learned a lot essentially about what this team's going to look like. Samaje Perine, I believe, will probably be cut by the Denver Broncos. You have Audric Estime, you have McLaughlin, you have Javonte, who can all kind of do the same exact things as Samaje can. I think that you're going to essentially see Samaje Perine leave. We learned that in training camp. We also learned who, in my opinion, are the dogs are. And I've talked to you about 2 of them recently this week, I believe on Coffee Break. I believe I talked about one. I was on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday's episode. I can't remember. They all kind of mixed together. But there are 2 players on this team that I believe are true DAWG dogs. And I'm so excited to finally be talking about that when it comes to this Denver Broncos team. I mentioned one of them today because we heard from him yesterday. So make sure you listen to Coffee Break and I'll give you the details on who that guy is. We all love the DAWG dogs out there. Let's see. Good morning, Rachel. I foresee some struggles with the Packers defense. Be fun to see how Bo Nix handles it. Bo Nix has done such a good job of handling a lot of the pressure that has come his way, whether that was against the Colts in just the first preseason game, or even going up against Patrick Surtain and seeing Surtain be stellar like he does. He's not afraid of anything. I'm excited to see what he looks like today. I'm excited to see what he's going to look like with the first team in the preseason game on Sunday. How long are we going to see him for? I'm hoping we hear from Sean Payton today. And I believe we're supposed to hear from the quarterbacks today as well following practice. So really looking forward to that as well. Let's see. By the way, gentlemen, I just love this so much. Please keep it coming. It makes me laugh. And I just love that there is a community built here. So thank you guys for this every single day. Let's see. Dun. Not Allen Burrow or Jackson, but Bo Nix will end the Chiefs' little run. Yes, I believe he's special. Okay. You know what? I'd be down. I'm curious. Actually, let me know in the comments before we log off. I'll keep answering comments. Do you think that the Chiefs will have their 3rd championship in a row? Do you think they will three-peat this year? Will they win another Super Bowl? Please let me know in the comments before we log off because I'm very, very curious. Let's see. Okay. But the Packers defense can't injure Bo Nix during the Broncos and Packers joint practice in the game on Sunday night. Packers will pay for it if anything happens to Bo Nix. First of all, I truthfully do not believe that there is any player in the NFL that purposely goes out to hurt them. And I think in the preseason, it is, a little more quote unquote gentle. I feel like that's not the right word, but it's the first thing that came to my mind. But I don't think anytime they're ever trying to go out there to hurt anybody. And I don't think that knock on all the wood, anything like that is hopefully going to happen out there, especially today or on Sunday. Like, again, I think that they talk a little sheesh and they have fun with it and, you get a little riled up. But again, I just don't truthfully believe that they ever go out there with any intention to be like, yeah, we're going to go out there and actually try and hurt that guy. The NFL is so different than how it was, back in the 90s or even the 80s when it was literally like that. Rivalries were that intense. Let's see. Okay, people are saying no, they do not believe that the Chiefs will three-peat. So nice. I never want to doubt against them, unfortunately. It just hurts a little bit. I did that last year when I was like, I just don't think there's any way that they're going to win it. They didn't have the wide receiver talent, but somehow you can never bet against Patrick Mahomes, and he goes out there and he does it. So just a little unfortunate news, that's for sure. If the Chiefs win 3 Super Bowls, does Andy retire? Good question. If I'm him, I'm like, look at all we've done. I think he'll ride out his career for as long as Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, like all of them are together. Otherwise, I could totally see him being like, you know what? I'm ready to go eat some hamburgers with my wife. We know he loves his wife so very much. We've seen her on all the post-game shows after everything. So I think eventually he will hang it up, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. That's probably my guess on that front. But I am headed off to the Broncos and Packers joint practice. I am so excited. If you are out there, make sure you say hi. It's always so fun to sit down and talk with all of you guys, see what you're up to, see how you're feeling about the Broncos country and all of that jazz. Let's see how Bo Nix looks. And we will be back on Monday for another episode of Denver Sports Daily. And it'll be a Maryland Monday, which means we will be talking about everything that Bo Nix did right or wrong against the Packers. We'll see you guys then. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.